So you've got this amazing idea, right? But here's the big question. Is it an amazing business? That's what we're going to figure out today. We are going to walk through, step by step, how you take that spark of a concept and turn it into a real, validated, and quantifiable market opportunity.
All right, so let's start where you probably are right now. You've already done the hard work, the really important work. You've talked to your users, you feel their pain points, you have that empathy. You've zeroed in on a genuine problem that needs a solution. You know exactly who you're trying to serve.
But, and this is a huge but, how many people actually have that problem? Is this a niche issue, or is it a massive untapped market? This is the moment we have to connect that user empathy to real-world economics. Is this idea a viable business? So here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll look at turning that idea into an opportunity. Then we'll get into market size and this cool funnel concept, TAM, SAM, and SOM. We'll compare two ways to calculate it, top-down versus bottom-up, talk about whether the market is even worth entering, and then the big one, making your go or no-go decision. Let's do it.
First things first, let's talk about shifting your mindset. You're moving from just having an idea to proving you have an opportunity. And that means you have to measure its potential impact. It's not just about building a cool app or a neat product, it's about showing there's a real market that can support it.
So why all this obsession with market size? Well, because it's everything. It's the number that tells you, and more importantly, any potential investors, the ceiling. How big can this get? It's the difference between a side hustle and a world-changing company. It really defines the potential for your revenue and your overall reach. And hey, don't just take my word for it. This line from our source material really nails it. The size of the market is directly tied to the level of impact you can have. And, it also determines the potential financial return. The two go hand in hand. A bigger market means a bigger possible splash, both for good and for your bottom line.
Okay, so how in the world do you actually measure something so huge? Well, there's a fantastic framework for it called TAM, SAM, and SOM. Now, I know, it sounds like a bunch of corporate jargon, but I promise it's a super simple and logical way to slice up the entire market and find your perfect starting point.
We start at the very top with TAM. That's the total addressable market. Think of this as the absolute biggest picture number. It's the entire global domain for your type of solution. It's what you'd make if you had absolutely no competition and somehow got 100% market share. It's your North Star.
Now, let's get a little more real. Next, we have SAM, your serviceable available market. This is the slice of that giant TAM pie that you can actually reach with your specific product or service. It's the part of the market that's a perfect fit for what you're selling, considering your geography and your focus.
And finally, we get to SOM, the serviceable obtainable market. This, my friends, is where the rubber meets the road. Looking at your team, your current budget, your marketing plan, who can you realistically win over in the next year or two? That's your SOM. It's your initial target, your bullseye. And this funnel idea is so powerful because it visually shows you what you're doing. You start with this huge, wide-open universe of possibilities, your TAM. Then you narrow it down to the people you can actually serve. That's your SAM. And finally, you focus all your energy on that first winnable piece of the market, your SOM. It's all about strategic focus. Okay, the framework is solid, but how do you find the actual numbers to plug in? Well, there are two classic ways to do it, a top-down analysis and a bottom-up analysis. Just think of them as looking at the same mountain from two different sides to make sure you're getting an accurate picture. So what's the difference? It's all about where you begin. Top-down starts with a big, broad industry report, like $1 billion market, and you start carving away the parts that don't apply to you. Bottom-up does the opposite. It starts with a single potential customer and builds the market up from there. Let's see how that works. So for the top-down method, let's imagine you're launching an online MBA program. You'd start with a massive number, maybe the entire population of working adults. Then you start applying filters. Okay, let's just look at ages 25 to 40. Then let's filter for people who already have a college degree. And finally, a behavioral one, who's actually willing to study online. See, each step gets you closer to a realistic number. Honestly, a great way to picture this is with a sieve. The top-down method is like scooping up a huge bucket of sand from the beach. You pour it through a sieve, and you shake and shake until only the shells, your actual target customers, are left. You're filtering down from the macro to the micro. Now, let's flip it and try the bottom-up method. For this one, you basically count the heads. For that same online MBA, you wouldn't start with the whole population. Nope. You'd go find actual lists of potential customers. How many people took the GMAT last year? How many attended MBA fairs? How many are members of, say, young professional associations? You're counting real people.
And that's the real power of the bottom-up approach. It's a fantastic reality check for your big, top-down guess. It's not based on assumptions. It's based on tangible data. And here's a pro tip. When your top-down and bottom-up numbers are in the same ballpark, that's when you know you've got a really solid estimate. So, once you have your estimated number of users, you got to turn that into a market size in dollars. And luckily, the formula is super simple. You just take that number of users and multiply it by how much money you think you can make from each user per year. And bam, that's your market size. But wait, before you rush off, there's one more crucial step. A giant market doesn't automatically mean it's a good market. You have to ask yourself, is this market actually attractive? Because size really isn't everything. You've got to think about the competition. I mean, think about it. If you're trying to launch a new smartphone today, yeah, the market is enormous, but it's also incredibly crowded. You'd be fighting tooth and nail for every single customer. A crowded market means your piece of the pie is going to be tiny, and you'll probably have to spend a fortune just to get noticed, which eats right into your profits. So now we've got all the pieces. We have the framework, we have the calculation methods, and we have the competitive context. It's time to put it all together and make what is honestly one of the biggest calls any founder has to make, the go or no-go decision. And this whole process creates a beautiful, logical flow. You start from a place of human connection, user empathy. You use that to guide your market analysis and understand your potential impact, and all of that together leads you to a clear-eyed view of your project's economic viability. It's a complete system for idea validation.
And let's never, ever forget why we do all this work. This isn't just about spreadsheets and numbers. As an entrepreneur, you're about to invest your most precious resources, your time, your money, and most of all, your passion. This whole process is designed to make sure that you're pouring all of that into an opportunity that truly deserves it.
So we'll leave you with this final thought. You now have the tools, you have the framework, you know the questions you need to ask. The only thing left to do is point them at your own big idea. So go find out, is your market a truly compelling opportunity? You've got this.